Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to Side Hustle Ideas. I am Bill, the company's expert, and welcome to the weekly podcast, live stream, whatever you call it, where we talk about essentially entrepreneurship, doing a side hustle. If you're the type of person that wants to supplement your income and do something on the side, maybe you have a day job, or maybe you're between jobs, but you want to sort of start up something directly where you make money directly without going through an employer. That's what we talk about here. So if you're seeing my face somewhere in the vicinity of my face, you should see a chat box. So get in the chat box because I don't do a lot of preparation for these. I hardly do any preparation. I rely on your questions for me to know what the hell to talk about. So get in the chat. Let me know what you're struggling with. Let me know what you're wondering. Let me know what your goals are. And I can try and help you out as much as I possibly can. Before we really get into it today, just some public service announcements. Later on, in about an hour, after this live stream, I am premiering a new live stream where we talk about business. Never done that sort of thing before. I've done some videos about business a long time ago on my YouTube channel, and they got some views, but they weren't super popular. But yet, this is something that I really enjoy talking about, so I wanted to do something. So stick around for that if you have any interest in that. The way I sort of loosely envisioned it is if you are interested in improving yourself, you want to gain some of the skills necessary to be in upper management. If that's an ambition of yours, we could certainly talk about that. How to manage and how to, as far as I can help you with, how to excel in that role. Oh, we got somebody already. Raja, or Raha, if I'm saying that correctly. I'm sure I'm not. I automatically mispronounce any name I see, so don't think you're special. I apologize for any bastardization of anybody's name that I do today. Raja says, I have learned good interview tips from you. Thanks a lot. You're absolutely welcome. I talk about careers and job interviews because there's a demand for it. That started because I was teaching. I went back to academia about, I don't know, more than 5 years ago, like 8 years ago, something like that, because I was asked to do some teaching. So I did some teaching, and the students wanted to hear about that stuff. They didn't really care too much about what I was supposed to be teaching them. Instead, they cared about how to get a job. So I ended up talking about that. And that's what led me to start a YouTube channel, because I frankly got tired of answering the same questions over and over again. So I figured I'll make some videos and send my students there. And that's how this channel started. Yes, well, you're absolutely welcome, Ron. I'm glad that it's working out for you and that you're seeing some success. So that's great. Yes. So if you are, I don't know what the percentage of people is, but it's like maybe 10% of people. I don't think it's more than that, who want to be entrepreneurs, who have an interest in not just doing the default thing in getting a job, and that's how you make your money, but going further than that and actually learning how to turn your talents, your skills, the value that you can add, the skills you have, your abilities, how to turn that directly into money. Okay, so you don't need to go through some kind of intermediary who stands between you and the whole idea of customers and packaging what you do into some kind of product or service and then selling that. And then they give you a little bit of the money that they get from that. You have an interest in actually doing that whole process yourself. And let me tell you, if you have some technical skills, okay, you've got some highly specialized technical skills, okay, the whole business part of turning that into money really isn't that hard, okay? If you want proof of that, go and look at university students, okay? If you go to a university, you'll see people taking dentistry and engineering and science and fine arts and music and philosophy and, you know, all kinds of different disciplines, right? Chemistry, biology, all the different sciences. Look at the management students, okay? The people that are taking bachelors of commerce or they're taking an MBA. Do they strike you as particularly intelligent, like a cut above everyone else? Of course they don't. Now, no offense to those students, but my point is that business is really not that hard of a thing. Okay, it isn't. So if you have technical skills in any one of those other areas, chances are you can certainly handle this. Okay, and the rest of the problem is trying to find a way to tailor what you do to adapt it to your strengths and weaknesses. So if you have a certain personality type, you don't like dealing with people directly or something, you can find a way of doing it that works for you, that takes advantages of your strengths and downplays your weaknesses. In the chat, we have, how do you say this? Anuk Posey said, Victor. That's a lot easier to say. I'll say Victor. Victor says, where does one start in terms of starting a business? I have a passion for trade and I want to build my brand, but there is so much to take in, which becomes confusing. Excellent question, Victor. That's a great starting place. Okay. So, trade. Now, I don't know what you mean exactly, precisely, about what type of trade you're in, because that could take many forms, but okay, we're going to divide this into two sort of parts to your learning. One would be the operations. One would be the trade itself. Okay, so if you're interested in doing your own business and working in a particular aspect of trade, okay, one element of learning would be to learn about the trade itself, whatever capacity, whatever environment you're working in. You would learn that. The other area of learning that you need to do is business, okay? Because as soon as you want to make money with something, okay, now you're in the world of business. That's how this works. In theory, you could take any interest or hobby and turn it into a money-making venture. Like, for example, let's say you're interested in bowling. I don't know if that's exactly a global sport, but bowling, you roll the bowling ball and it hits the pins, right? Let's say that was your passion. You loved it. You were great at it. If you wanted to make money with it, you could become a bowling coach. You could be somebody who talks about bowling. You could be somebody who writes articles about bowling for the bowling association in your country. I mean, there's different ways of monetizing that, right? But the moment you try and make money with it, now you're in the world of business, and that requires you to learn business. So business is a separate school of thought, okay? It's like when you go to a university, like we were talking about earlier, business is one of the faculties, okay? And you learn business. And what that essentially teaches you to do in a nutshell is it teaches you how to make money, okay? Like at its core, that's what business is. It's how to make money, okay? So that's where the learning will begin. Okay. Now, the conventional way of doing that is to go to university, get yourself a degree in business. Is that absolutely necessary to start a business? No, it isn't. Okay. I mean, it really helps, but it's not absolutely necessary. There's not enough learning that it would take you that amount of time and that amount of material to go through. So I would learn about business. Now, you guys know what I'm going to do next, right? Okay. I have a course that I'm going to plug that solves that problem. It's my version of solving that problem, okay? And that's this thing right here. So I'm going to talk about it sometime. Might as well talk about it now just for a moment. If you are interested in learning about business, what I've done is I put together a course where I essentially condense an MBA, a Master's of Business Administration, to one course, okay? And the reason I can do that is because what I'm doing is I'm essentially giving you a reading list of textbooks, okay? These are things you can buy off Amazon for like literally $5. You can get an older edition of the textbook for $5, and you read it. You could skim it if you just have a passing interest. You could go really in depth if you really want to learn it, but you're getting the actual real information. You're not getting somebody's opinions passed off as fact. You're not getting a lot of pseudoscience. You're getting the actual teaching. And the books that I give you for like the reading list, they're the books, the same books that are used in places like Harvard Business School in their MBA program. So you're getting the same material. The trick is, the catch, the reason this is only $100 and it's not fancier, is because you have to then do it yourself. It's a self-study thing, okay? So you can go as deep as you want. You can learn all the areas like you would, or you could learn just, one or two, whatever you're interested in, if that's all you're interested in. Okay. So coming back to your question there, Victor, if you have a passion for trade, that's great. Okay. Obviously, it is possible to make money in trade. The key is to learn how and to learn what opportunities there are for you. Okay. So having said what I've said already, which is I've said that there's two sort of pieces to the book learning. One is learning about trade. The other one is learning about business. Okay. You learn that. That's almost like a study. You'd learn the theory, right? The second part, okay, of this whole journey is going to be, it's very important, and you can't bypass this. It's going to be learning through experience. You have to then try something, okay? You have to try things. And that is absolutely key, okay? Because for a start, people can give you the theory, but A, they don't know your specific situation, and B, they don't know your specific strengths and weaknesses, okay? So you're going to be adapting the theory to suit your particular situation, okay? And the only way to learn what's possible or what you can do or what, is reasonable in your situation is to try things. And it is possible to try things, certainly in this day and age, for no money, okay? You really don't take a lot of risk. The only thing you really risk is your time being wasted, okay? And if you're doing something that involves approaching people, then maybe you risk, like, I don't know, being embarrassed or something, but nothing real, okay? Nothing serious. You're not gambling away your life savings. You're not taking major risks that you're going to regret the rest of your life. But the key is to get out and try things, figure out what works and what doesn't, figure out what you're good at and what you're not as good at, probably because you're just not as interested in. Okay, so that's in a nutshell what you have to do. Okay, and for some people, this can seem very intimidating. For most people, actually, if you haven't done anything like it. But let me tell you, it's really not as big of a deal as it sounds. It's not as intimidating as it sounds. And life is long. You have several years to do this in, and it can seem quite daunting, but you progress in little baby steps and you will get there. If this is something you want to do, you will get there. Millions upon millions of people do this every day. If they can do it, you certainly can, if it's what you want. So I don't know if that was much of an answer for you, but that's kind of just the bird's eye view on this. JD says, hello, JD. Thank you for being here. How do you say this? Nadita says, I am Deuce Nibio. I currently live in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for the educative videos. I got a new job out of watching some of the videos. Great. That's awesome. Thank you for letting me know. And I'm glad that they were useful for you. Way to go. Mohammed 990 is here. Hello, Mohammed. George B. Washington Jr. Is that like Michael K. Fox? George B. Washington Jr. says, I have an interest in affiliate programs with UA. I don't know what UA is. Best Buy, Amazon. Seems like a lot. Is that a good side hustle? I appreciate your thoughts. By the way, I love your content, humorous and impactful. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I need to work on my stand-up comedy routine. That's what really makes business lectures come alive, right? UA. I mean, is that United Artists? I don't know what UA is. Okay, so affiliate program. So that's where, okay, so I'm not down with all the latest lingo and stuff, but affiliate programs, is that when like you become a seller on Amazon, like a third-party seller? Is that what that is? Or Best Buy? I'm assuming that's what it is. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just going to go on that. Yeah, like, where to start? Okay, what was the question? The question, is this a good side hustle? Well, listen, it will be for some people. It depends on your circumstances and what you're trying to do. For others, it won't be, okay? There are two major parts of business: operations and marketing, okay? You have to have those two together for anything to work, okay? Now, if you are a affiliate program or affiliate partner, as I understand this, okay, Oh, Under Armour. Okay. I've never heard of that. Maybe it's an American thing. I'm in Canada, so I don't know. We have different stores up here and stuff. So, there are two pillars to business: operations and marketing. Operations is doing the thing that you do. So if you're providing a service or you're selling a product, operations is the creation of the product or the provision of the service. Okay. So if you are a plumbing company, you provide plumbing services. Okay. So operations are the plumbing side of what you do. Okay. Marketing, as many people probably already know, is essentially that's like how you can make money with the plumbing, with the operations. So that's about figuring out who are your customers, who would want your services or your product. Where are they? What's, like, how do you reach them and say to them, hello, I'm here and you should buy my thing. And what's the message I should send them? Should I explain something to them with like text? Should I show them a video of somebody really enjoying their their toilet working without leaking all over the place? I mean, that's what they do for car companies. They show you a video of somebody driving a car, somebody who looks incredibly beautiful, driving a car on a beautiful sunny day, like with a really, ecstatic look of satisfaction on their face. And like, that's what sells the car. The message is, this could be you. You could be as happy as this, cocaine addicted model, So, what's the way to sell this? Who would want it? How to convince them? All of that is marketing. Okay. So you need both of these things in order to do it. Okay. Now, if you are a affiliate partner with one of these online stores like Amazon, okay, I'm more familiar with Amazon. My understanding is that means you could set up an online store. Okay. So that gives you the mechanism to sell something to someone. Okay. So if they want to buy your thing, they can. Okay. So that's good. That's part of operations. That's sort of the delivery mechanism, right? Does it do anything for the marketing side? I'm not sure. I honestly don't know. I'm not down with all the details of how Amazon does their marketing programs with their third-party vendors. Maybe it does. Maybe they will promote your products. So when somebody's just surfing Amazon or something, they will promote your product. They'll say, hey, this is an option for you. You might want to buy this shiny thing, right? So if they can do that for you, I don't know, maybe you have to pay for that or you have to have a very popular product in order for them to do that. I'm not sure. But if that's something that they also provide, then I would say it's certainly worth looking into. If they're going to rely on you to do the entire marketing thing, like you have to go out and reach people and say, hello, I'm here. I've got this product or this service. Buy it from me. Then I would be less enthusiastic about it because it's not that hard to get your product to somebody, provided they already know you're there. Excuse me. They already know you're there and they know that they want your thing. Okay. Like assuming those two, it's not that hard to then sell it to them. Right. So if you're left on your own to do the first two things, I would argue that they're not really providing you with much. They're not really giving you these great tools, If they are helping you with the marketing side, then I think that yes, definitely. If they're going to help you find an audience or a market segment, like a customer base for your product or service, then I think that's a lot of value. Okay. So I would look into that. Okay. Because at the end of the day, you're going to still have the same problem, which is how to do the marketing, how to find your audience, how to convince them that they should buy your thing. And, those are the biggest problems right there. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Mohammed says the best way to make money is to teach people how to make money. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of people that do that. That's kind of what I'm doing here. I make like about $3 off each one of these live streams. So So yeah, that's the way to the bank, I guess. What opportunities can you offer? Now, I don't know what that means, JD. If you want to elaborate on that, what opportunities can you offer? Is that in reference to an answer I was giving to somebody else? Let me know. Gustavo says, greetings from Houston. Awesome. Houston, Texas. My wife was just down there. Your videos helped me a lot to find the job I was looking for years. Thank you so much. Now I need my side hustle to speed up retirement. Well, I'm glad that my channel gave you some value there and helped you along. That's great to hear, and thank you for letting me know. It's good to get that kind of positive feedback. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, side hustles, they also provide a certain measure of job security. If you've got a day job, but you've also got something on the side, something happens to your day job, or there's changes going on, at the company where you work or something. I mean, that can make people very, very uncomfortable, very nervous, because of the uncertainty involved. Having something on the side gives you a little bit more security, a little bit more confidence that, like, okay, no matter which way things go, at least I will still have this. And then I have some options. I have the option of ramping up my side hustle. If I work at it full time, maybe I could replace my income, and I could turn it into something that's more satisfying for me because it's my creative child. It's what I want to do. I designed it myself for me. And in theory, that should fit you better than any sort of one-size-fits-all job that you take, right? May not pay as much, depending on what you're doing, but at least you can customize it to your liking. So it gives you extra options. It gives you some more security there. So that's the good thing about it. And the other thing that not many people talk about, I've never heard anybody say this, but it's like if you've done a side hustle or you've done some kind of entrepreneurial venture, okay, you've learned how to make money on your own, okay? If that's you, I don't care what anybody says. In my experience, that makes you much more valuable as a manager of a business unit, okay? So in the world of management, you sort of rise, like you become a supervisor, you become a functional manager, and then you may become a general manager, someone who's in charge of a business unit. They're in charge of an entire money-making entity, okay? They're not just looking after a piece of it, they're looking after the whole thing, okay? Which is like, they're looking at the cost side, they're looking at the revenue side. They're looking at operations, they're also looking at marketing and all the other services, okay? So, and they're responsible for the accounting. They have fiscal responsibility basically for it. Okay, people refer to that in different ways. Okay, financial responsibility. You're responsible for all the employees. Okay, the buck stops with you for the employees in that unit. Okay, so if that's what you're being put in charge of, in my experience, it really, really helps if you've actually tried to make money on your own and you've been successful at it. You've run operations, you've run marketing, you've strategically steered the business. Okay, that's incredibly valuable experience. There's, in my mind, there's always been this delineation between people who've done that and know how it's done, and people that have never done that. And the people that have never done that, they tend to not make as good quality decisions when they're running a business unit, because they don't know what the source of value is. They don't know the priorities. This is more important than that. They don't know any of that stuff. So it's also great for your career. Not that you could put it on a resume and people will regard it well because it's on your resume, but because it allows you to be better at your job. Okay? You can sort through the crap. You can distinguish, this is important. All these other things are sideshows, If you've never actually tried to make money, you will not have a sense of that. So I'm just throwing that out there. That's something incredibly useful that you get from doing this. Victor says, Brava, right? Bravissimi. George B. Washington says, thanks so much. Gotcha. My pleasure, George B. Washington. You have an awesome name. Don't let anyone ever tell you different. You need like a little Esquire or something at the end. And you need a, what do you call it? A prefix at the beginning. The Right Honorable George B. Washington Jr. Esquire. Like that commands respect. When you walk into a room, people will take notice. Mad Dog 1991 says, just want to say thank you for your content. I have a final interview tomorrow. That would be a life-changing boost to my income. Well, best of luck, Mad Dog 1991. Make sure you get that moniker tattooed on your forehead. Get a face tattoo of that alias just for that hint of respectability. And I predict great things will happen. No, seriously, best of luck. Yes. So there we go. We've reached the end of the chat questions. Now I guess it's back to me to think of a topic and fill time. Let's see. I have multiple camera angles that I never use. Here, we got Google and we got ChatGPT. I wanted to do something different today. I wanted to try using Google like I usually do, right? As a starting point, because I found it's best to react to things rather than try and create a topic in a void here. But I also wanted to try ChatGPT live, because I haven't done that before, and react to stuff. I think it's asleep. We'll see. Okay, that's interesting. I've never come across that before where it just shuts down. Maybe if it's been dormant for so long, then it just doesn't respond or something. That's a sign of good technology. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, so after all, the whole point of this chat, the title is Side Hustle Ideas. Let's actually Google that. Let's look at some side hustle ideas and let's react to some of this stuff because I think some people actually come here to figure out some side hustle ideas. Imagine that. Okay, so this is what it says under side hustle ideas when you ask it to Google. Here's some options. Oh, I love that. Monetize the YouTube channel as your step one. Yeah, in my experience, you need to be patient if you're going to do that because that does not happen overnight. Sell digital products, yeah. So like courses, I mean, that's the only digital product I know of. Become an IRL or online tutor. I talked about that. I've been doing a bunch of shorts lately, and I talked about that in one of the shorts. A tutoring idea if you are a student or something like that. That has potential. But once again, a lot of these things, it's going to depend more on the marketing side. If you know a lot of people, you know a lot of students that are struggling with learning what you happen to know, then of course you could probably, get this off the ground. If you don't know that, you have to go out and try and find who would possibly be interested. It may be a little harder, but you could still do it. Okay. Let's talk about this for a second. Like if I was going to be, let's say I was 23 years old and I wanted to be a tutor, but you have to imagine me with about 150 pounds lighter with washboard abs. Okay, so I'm just saying. What I would do is if I knew personally a lot of other students that were needing that service, they were struggling in school, they were taking the same program, and they needed help, and they were open to getting help, then I would obviously deal with them face to face through word of mouth. I would call them up or I would meet them or whatever and do it that way. If I didn't know those people, I'd look into ways of getting the word out there by maybe physically going to the school. So in the old days, if you had a cork board in the hall, you could put up, notices or whatever. That would be the default thing. Just put up, tutor available for this subject. And I would follow basic principles of marketing and sales where you don't just say, I'm a tutor, call me. You would talk about the result. Okay, what can you do? Can you boost somebody's grade by 1 letter or 2 letters, in like 4 weeks, something like that, because you are helping them. You're helping them to learn what's important. You're helping them understand what is important to learn, what's not important to learn, all that stuff. If it was me, that's what I would focus on, and I would talk about the result. Here's what result I can get for you if you contact me and get me to help you. Okay? Something like that, right? That's what I would consider doing. Okay, so obviously, if you are an extrovert type person and you know a lot of people and you enjoy talking to people and you're great at having conversations and stuff, then that's probably the way you would, the method you would employ to promote your services here. If you are not an extrovert that loves to talking to a whole bunch of strangers and is great talking about what you can do for them, and that's not really your bag, it's not really your world, then I would do it, by putting up an ad or by go on social media, see if you can reach the students of the course that way. If they all are meeting online in, a sort of virtual group for the course or something like that, maybe there's potential to contact them all through that. I would investigate that more, right? So you see how you can tailor this to your particular abilities. And maybe one or the other method will work better depending on who you are, right? So that's what I would look into. What else do we have here? Deliver packages. Okay, yeah, you could do that. I think that's pretty common. It's unskilled. Personally, I wouldn't recommend it for most people just because it's unskilled, because it means that anyone can do it. And when anyone can do it, it means a couple of things. It means, first of all, you're not going to make your first million doing it because they can always find somebody else cheaper, right? And number two, it's kind of cookie cutter type thing. There's not a lot of opportunity to do a value added thing, to do a more upscale, high level service, higher quality service. That's usually where the money is. Okay. Start a podcast. Okay. I mean, I'm doing it. Maybe there's a way to make tons of money doing that. If there is, I don't know of it, but that doesn't mean much. Design and sell your own t-shirts. That's awesome. If you could think of a hilarious t-shirt that when people see it, they go, oh my God, I have to have that, right? If you have the ability to come up with those, I think you could do pretty well, actually. But it's that ability, right? Anybody can make a t-shirt, but if you can make a t-shirt where the idea, when somebody sees it, they go, oh, I need that. That's awesome, right? That's probably the secret to winning in that business. Offer pet sitting and dog walking services. Yes. Once again, it's kind of like the whole delivering packages thing. It's unskilled. Or my understanding of it is that it's unskilled. I don't know if you need special licenses to do this kind of thing, but it seems like it's unskilled. If it is, then I personally wouldn't recommend that to most people for that reason. Same with becoming a rideshare driver. I mean, you can make money with it. You're not going to make your first million doing it, but I would look for something you can do that's maybe a little more customized, that you're not one of a billion people who can do it. You're one of a select few of people. Maybe specialized knowledge in a specific area. You could use that to your advantage. That's what I would focus on first. I'd also look at what you want to do and what you can do. Those are two obvious places to start, right? Because let me tell you, at the end of the day, if you don't want to do something, it doesn't matter how profitable it is or how likely it is to succeed. If you hate doing it, it's just as simple. You will not stick with it. Usually, you don't get a hole in one the very first time you play golf. Usually, you don't knock it out of the park. The very first startup type idea you think of, side hustle idea, you don't usually make so much money that you can quit your day job. It takes a bit, right? So if it's something you really don't enjoy doing, you're not going to stick with it long enough for it to really pay off. That's usually how it goes. Okay, get in the chat and ask some questions, because if I don't get any more questions, I don't really have anything planned that I'm going to say. So I don't want to just do filler. So let me know. Send in some questions. What are you struggling with? What are you interested in learning when it comes to potentially doing a side hustle or some kind of entrepreneurship venture. And I will answer your questions. Yeah, I really should have like a sort of a fallback kind of, I don't know, I got to take a little piece, post-it note or something and stick it to my monitor with some fallback topics, because when I don't get questions, I got to fill dead air. So maybe that would make sense for me to do that. I currently don't have that. So here I am just talking off the top of my head, which I'm sure is super interesting. Yes. No, if you are wanting to learn business, like I already mentioned, check out my courses. I got 2 courses. The top one here, like you can probably read, is for how to learn business. And what I do is I guide you through it. It's a self-study program. The great thing about it is you can go as deep as you want. So if you just want a sort of basic overview, this will give it to you. It gives you all the different areas, and I guide you through it with videos. The other course is for how to get hired if you're looking for a job. It's basically my recommendation of how you would go about a job search campaign. And there's 2 big sort of pillars within the course. One is applying for posted jobs, okay, doing the default thing, going to job interviews, dealing with recruiters. And then the other pillar is the networking side. So if you want to get into the networking side, I put the course together to be a sort of good introduction to it. I walk you through a technique that I recommend, that I used myself to build my consulting business several years ago. You know, and it's done from the perspective that you've never done any networking before. Okay, so it walks you through it with templates and stuff like that. Step-by-step process from beginning to end. So that's what's in that course. So check those out if they are useful to you and that's the direction you want to go. There's links in the description for those courses, and I've done videos that answer questions on those courses so you know precisely what you're getting into before you get into it, and be as transparent as possible. So check those out. Not a lot of questions coming, so I'm probably going to wrap this up. Now, as I said, in about 20 minutes, I am premiering a new live stream, okay, where I talk about business, basically how to run a business as opposed to like startups and stuff on the small scale. This is more how to be a manager, how to be an executive, some of the skills involved, some of the tactics involved. I'm kind of excited and also a little apprehensive because I haven't prepared anything, and this is the first attempt, first episode, or first, whatever you want to call it, instance of it. So we'll see how it goes. So tune in for that if that's something that you're interested in. Other than that, I will probably be winding this down now. There are 25 of you guys here. Thank you for joining me today. Stick around for my next stream in 20 minutes, and I will see you then. Okay? I wish you the best of luck. Take care.